Picture this. You and your friends are hanging out on a Friday night, playing a bit of Smash Bros.
Oh, come on, man. I almost had you.
At some point, one of your friends starts bringing up the idea of going to get some food.
Hey, man, we should go get some food.
Normally, pizza would be a good call here. However, the party's winding down and people are thinking about getting a change in scenery. That's when you start talking about fast food places. Familiar favorites are mentioned, but there's also some new places that have just opened up nearby. Your friends throw out suggestions, but nobody wants to agree on where to go.
No, man, I want the new place.
What do you mean? That new place sucks. We should go to McDonald's. I want Wendy's.
Round and round, your friend group continues to debate about where to go while you grow ever more hungry.
What if we go to Subway?
Eventually, you will make a decision, and it might even be a good one. However, part of you wishes that this was just a little bit easier. Like if, say, somebody created a biased and misinformed definition of what fast food was, and then listed out all the restaurants that fit that definition, and went on a bit of a road trip experiencing all of them to make the ultimate fast food tier list. You know, that would be pretty good in this instance, but nobody's dumb enough to do that.
Hey, man, what's up?
Drive-Thru road trip. But first, I live in Colorado, and Jacob lives in Wisconsin. So, I guess I gotta go pick him up. I woke up at 2 a.m. and loaded up the car for the insane drive from Denver, Colorado to Madison, Wisconsin. Insanely boring, that is. 14 hours of flat lands and occasionally wind turbines, courtesy of Iowa. We are crossing the Mississippi River, which means when I get to the other side, I'm back in Wisconsin.
Welcome to Wisconsin.
Woo! Woo! After getting into Wisconsin, I met up with the friend that I was going to be staying with overnight, and then we went to go get the food while waiting for Jacob to arrive. Now that he was here, we set to work on the first two restaurants of the trip. First up, Culver's, one of my favorite restaurants and usually people's go-to example for Midwestern food. Now, I had known that I was going to enjoy Culver's after my long drive and gave it an A. However, Jacob was not as interested in Culver's as I was, and in fact only decided to give the burger a B, but was won over by the pretzel bites and specifically the cheese sauce and upgraded his ranking to A. Second for the day was some pizza and breadsticks from Rocky Rococo's. Now, admittedly, the food was a little cold, so it probably wasn't at peak performance, but I still think that Rocky Rococo's is a solid entry in the world of Italian fast food, and give it an A. Jacob, on the other hand, was way more impressed by it than I was and gave it an S.
This is my favorite pizza. It's easy S. You had to bribe me to come here with Rockies. You had to bribe me to start a day early.
Shortly after this, Jacob returned home, and I got some much-needed rest on my friend's couch. In one day, I had driven over 900 miles and had 2 restaurants to show for it. Tomorrow, we would hit the road for the real road trip. Day 1 officially begins. I have to go pick up Jacob from his place. It's gonna take me about 40 minutes. That took a little bit longer to start than I would like.
Man, I look like garbage. Well, I'm due to leave here in a few minutes and I'm almost packed. Decide, hey, we should go to McDonald's. I'm gonna finish getting ready. My ride's gonna be here in a few minutes.
Okay, the road trip has officially begun. We're on our way down to Chicago. We're We're gonna try the McDonald's HQ and probably hit up a few other restaurants while we're there. Probably just gonna montage through most of that. Actually, it's gonna be a little bit more involved than just a montage. But while I have your attention, it's probably a good thing to mention what our goals for today really were. See, the plan was to have the road trip last only 7 days, which would mean we would need to have at least 7 to 10 restaurants a day if we were going to get past the 43 restaurants we planned on doing. I know the fancy graphics say 45 restaurants, and that's because we basically had to add a couple. Oops, dropped you there. Here, hold on, let me just put you back. Sorry about that. Anyway, we were on our way to Chicago so that way we could knock out at least 7 restaurants today. Some of which we could only find in Chicago, including a particular McDonald's location. For those who don't know, McDonald's has their headquarters in downtown Chicago, which has its own restaurant. It serves everything that you would expect off of the McDonald's menu, but it also has a selection from the international menu, so we'd be able to get some familiar favorites as well as dip our toes into international waters.
You're okay with sharing spoon, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm glad you are, because I wasn't even gonna ask. From the international menu, we ordered the Banana Tart McFlurry from Japan.
Oh, is it?
It's really good.
Yeah, let me give it a try.
It's actually really good.
Oh, I quite like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's very nice.
Yeah. The 1955 burger from Germany. That's a great burger right there.
Oh, God. That hits different.
And the McArabia, which is a chicken sandwich from Pakistan and other Middle Eastern countries.
That's what we're working with right here.
That's not.
Arabia.
That doesn't look bad.
No.
It's grilled chicken, so I don't feel horrible.
This tastes like if you got the normal chicken sandwich, but you got it grilled.
Yeah.
And you just put it in like a flat bread.
For me, this is more ideal. If I want a chicken sandwich from McDonald's and I want to be a little healthy, this is what I would go for.
Okay.
But it isn't anything to write home about. It's still pretty good. Like, better than average.
They also gave us an extra banana McFlurry by mistake, which I'm not gonna complain about, nor did we correct them on. We both gave this whole experience a solid S. We also gave the normal menu a try by ordering a bacon quarter pounder with cheese. We probably should have started with this burger as it felt very underwhelming after the surprisingly good international menu. We both agreed that this was nothing more than an average burger. I gave it a C and Jacob gave it a B. Having finished our double feature at McDonald's HQ, we drove a short distance to the next Chicago location, Jollibee's. And this particular location was packed. After waiting about an hour in line for our food, we walked the short distance over to Millennium Park and enjoyed our 2-piece meal, Beanside.
All right, you want to try a raw bite? Cheers.
I'm gonna lie, it's pretty good.
I like the breading.
The chicken was pretty good, but the real star of the show was the gravy. It was savory and flavorful. It really elevated the fried chicken into B tier. We flicked the bean goodbye and headed to our last stop in Chicago. For those from the Chicagoland area, Portillo's needs no introduction. This particular location was inside of a food court in downtown Chicago. Portillo's is famous for their hot dogs and cake shakes, both of which we tried. I felt that the cake shake was going to give me diabetes, but you know, in the fun kind of way. The hot dogs were Chicago style and were some of the best that fast food could offer. Jacob gave Portillo's an S, and I felt it was A-worthy. It was time to leave Chicago for Indiana. Gary, Indiana to be precise. Normally, Gary, Indiana is the kind of place you would want to avoid if you could. Same could be said about our next stop. White Castles tend to be pretty hit or miss, even by fast food standards. Perhaps the combination of the terrible place of Gary, Indiana, and the terrible restaurants of White Castle could create some kind of magic.
Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna lie, it's not the worst presentation I've ever seen.
It needs ketchup.
Well, they didn't ask us for any, so.
I have no idea who thought of steaming burgers as opposed to grilling them, but they need to be stopped.
So, I have a question for you. You had the microwavable ones, right?
I worked at a movie theater where we had White Castle burgers, like sliders, that we would throw into a pizza oven.
Would you agree with me that this tastes exactly the same?
No, this tastes worse. This tastes worse somehow.
We gave these steamed hams an F.
By the way, we're on the strip mall, right off 12 in Gary. That's the only fast food restaurant that doesn't have a blown out window or anything.
Well, hold on, we didn't go around. There's no windows for them to blow out. It's a White Castle.
But
They probably tried.
they do have a moat of potholes and sludge.
We waved goodbye to White Castle and started heading deeper into Indiana. As the sun was setting, we pulled into our next stop, Fazoli's. There were very few examples of Italian fast food restaurants in the United States, and there may be good reason for that.
That's what we're dealing with there. Look at that. So in my mind, it's fucking up the glass. Holy shit. Are you gonna have any of the salad, or is that just for me to...
That is literally just for you. I
Okay.
told you what I want to do.
You wanted the pizza, and I'm starting to think that you literally just wanted to poison me.
Does my face convey my disappointment? You might as well be eating a tire. It's not good. It's not good. Like, this isn't good. Like, the breadsticks are alright, but there's so I don't know what it is about the food here. Every time I've eaten here, every time I've eaten at Fazoli's, it's giving me the shits.
This was a D for me and an F for Jacob.
F.
If I get the shits later, it's an F.
Fade to
However,
black, saying he got the shits.
After back-to-back disappointments, we got back on the road and got to our hotel in Indianapolis. Despite having binged on fast food all day, we were still feeling pretty confident and decided that we were going to walk over to a nearby Steak and Shake for a little extra credit that day. Back in the hotel room, we unwrapped our snack and got to work. It was just a burger, fries, and a milkshake, all of which were decently average. C tier for both of us. With that out of the way, our first full day of the road trip had come to a close. We had driven over 300 miles and eaten at 7 different restaurants. Things were looking good. We definitely didn't feel the best waking up on the morning of day 2. But the show must go on. Originally, our plan was to do most of today's eating in Kentucky while on our way to Nashville. But we needed an early pee break and noticed that there just so happened to be a Freddy's right off the highway. We pulled in to give it a look. Similar to last night's Steak and Shake, Freddy's is known for its steak burgers and frozen desserts. So we were going to have a burger and some milkshake in order to liven our spirits a little bit on the morning of day 2. Unlike Steak and Shake, Freddy knows how to actually make these things taste good. It was S tier for Jacob and A for me. With that fun detour out of the way, we got back on the road and started heading into Kentucky. The plan being, we make some stops outside of Louisville and knock out 4 restaurants back to back. Those being A&W, Long John Silver's, Taco Bell, and KFC. Buckle up, folks. We got a Kentucky mukbang on our hands.
We're gonna be screwed. We got 4 in a row that we're just doing all in one take.
Yeah.
First one we're doing is A&W. Ooh, I don't like the smell of that. Those are the fries that we're smelling. It doesn't smell good.
Not really that bad, but
Could be a lot better.
nothing appetizing about it either yet. Oh, it's very appetizing. It's very appetizing, isn't it?
I'll start. I don't even want to swallow it. The A&Ws in Wisconsin are way better because they're the classic drive-in ones. This was not a drive-in one. This was a drive-through one. I was gonna give A&W like a solid A because that's what they are in Janesville and Edgerton and all the other A&W locations in Wisconsin. They're all solid A's. This one's like a D.
That burger's gooey. That burger's gooey. It doesn't really taste like much other than just cheese and whatever the hell Papa sauce is. Yeah, it's a D.
It's a D.
It's a D.
I hate to say D because again, if this was Wisconsin, it'd be an A. Let's move on to the one that I'm least looking forward to.
Oh, Long John Silver's.
Long John Silver.
Of all the chain restaurants that we're having, it was White Castle and Long John Silver's that I was looking at like, this is gonna be shit.
This is gonna be
It's gonna
awful.
be terrible.
There used to be a lot of them in Wisconsin, but they all closed. I wonder why. There we go.
That's
There
better.
we go. Now
That's
we're
better.
talking. Honestly, the fish don't look bad. Oh, we're in for a treat. It's a tartar sauce packet. That's Long John Silver branded. Jesus Christ. We're in for a treat, boys.
Okay, well.
Take my
I
word
like
for it.
this. I like this more than A&W. Like the burger's better. Sorry, this is better than the burger.
What?
Why don't you try that out?
What?
Not bad.
Are you kidding me? Oh, wow.
It's like 10 minutes later, so it's pretty crunchy.
It's leaving a layer of grease on my lips that's unappetizing, but that's the worst thing to say about this.
I've had fish fry that's supposed to be like beer battered cod and stuff, and it's just not doing it for me.
Right.
This isn't a substitute, but it's better than some of the stuff I've had that's supposed to be a direct competitor or substitute for it.
While we were surprised by Long John Silver's, it was still only average, so we both gave it C.
Oh no, my device is overheating.
It is?
My main phone is.
Okay, so before we grab the other stuff, you might want to move your camera out of there so that way it doesn't like
Look at
die. Yeah.
What? Woo! Woo! That camera's holding up. I'm surprised. Taco Bell. It's the next one. Your cinnamon twists. I already have had cinnamon twists a billion times, so I know what those are about. And this.
Cinnamon tasting styrofoam.
Oh, this has got some heft to it. This must be yours. And they're cold. Why are they cold? Despite the fact that it's cold, it actually tastes exactly the same. You got something more substantial than I did.
Yes, Taco Bell. That's pretty shit. Taco Bell is pretty bad in terms of presentation, but
Always.
they're pretty good if you're stoned, drunk, bored. How is it cold? I don't understand. A&W
Okay.
and the Long John Silver's were piping hot, almost too
Okay.
hot.
Okay, hear me out though. The taste is the same, regardless. Because it was for my
Yeah, but
food.
I would like the mouthfeel to be better.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than cold burritos. Jacob gave Taco Bell a C, and I gave it a D.
All right, KFC's next.
Yeah.
I got it.
Okay, I was gonna say, otherwise I was gonna do the reach around.
I'm gonna put.
Hey guys, we got a spork.
Believe it or not, that spork might have actually been the most interesting part about our meal at KFC. The chicken itself was terribly presented, tasted okay, but really was only average. We both gave it C.
I think what we took away from this is Long John Silver's gets a bad rap.
I've given it a bad rap, yeah.
Having survived the Kentucky mukbang, we hit the road and headed to our next stop, which was supposed to be Dairy Queen, but their drive-thru was taking forever. But that's okay, because just across the street was a Big Boys. Remember how I said that we started with 43 and somehow ended up with 45 restaurants? Yeah, this is one of those reasons. We didn't think Big Boys existed in the United States anymore, so we didn't include it on the list. But hey, Kentucky's just full of surprises. Maybe, just maybe, we found our new favorite.
I'm undecided. I'm undecided.
Boy, okay, all right.
It goes surprisingly well at the end of the soda that I still have.
That is, I'm gonna give that a C.
I'm gonna give it a D.
I'm gonna give that a C.
D.
I think it's better than A&W, but by itself, it's an average burger. So, are we hearing that perhaps there was a reason they went extinct?
I think that, again, that is not my kind of burger. If I had the burger of my choice, I'd probably give it a higher rating, but
But it's the Big Boy burger.
it is the Big Boy burger. And we thought they were, we didn't think there was any left.
Yeah, like I'm happy that we got it because at the very least we can definitively
It
say.
didn't even list this location.
Well, that was a disappointment. Moving on, our final stop in Kentucky was Zaxby's. Of all the restaurants that we had listed, this one I was the most excited for. You could really only find these restaurants in the southeast, and the only road trips that I'd ever been on were to the west. So this is going to be a first for me as well as Jacob.
That's some good fried chicken right there.
Oh, that changes things. I'm leaning towards B, but I do
think the chicken could be a little better, just a little. There's room for improvement still. It's an A. It's an A for me.
Nice.
And are you sticking to your S, or are you gonna go more conservative?
I'm going A. I'm going back down to A.
While we were both impressed by Zaxby's, I think the more impressive part was the fact that we ate something in Kentucky that didn't suck. Lucky for us, we were moving on.
We made Tennessee. You missed the GPS telling us to make it that we made Tennessee. Sorry.
Our final destination for day 2 was Nashville, Tennessee. It's a vibrant city with a lot of good music, a lot of great food, and a very good atmosphere. Of which we saw none because we had 3 more restaurants we had to do that weren't even in Nashville. So now it's time for Sonic. And yes, we walked over to the drive-in restaurant. I know, I'm disappointed. Now there's no way for us to recreate the Sonic Guy commercials.
I'm a sandwich, and I got this going on.
Okay. How's the food at least? Personally, I thought this was one of the better tasting burgers we had that day. But not quite anything more than a B in my opinion. Jacob was very impressed with it and decided to go with an A.
No, stop. I get it. I'm not talking about the sandwich anymore.
The final stops of day 2 were Shake Shack, which honestly might be more fast casual than it is fast food, but we wanted to give it a try anyway, and Crystal's, which was a slider place similar to White Castle, but they were a little harder to find as they're starting to go out of business.
No, that'll do her.
976 at the window, honey.
Thank you. Very polite.
Very polite.
Call me honey.
Southern
Makes me feel
hospitality.
so nice.
Back now we do a little bit of a cut to the hotel where we're trying both Shake Shack and Crystal. Okay, Shake Shack time.
Thanks, Jacob. This time we did it a little bit different. The whole day we were ordering the number 1 off of the menu, or what I was considering to be the most iconic thing from each restaurant. This time, Jacob ordered, and he went with a California-style burger with a special mayo sauce and avocado.
The avocado was a nice choice. You can't really taste it that well, but you can definitely tell it's there. The texture is there. This is nice. It is. It's nice. I like it.
I got smudge on my face, don't I?
You sure do.
I like that a lot.
You do, yes.
I like that a lot. That tastes like...
It's a nice switch up,
That is a
isn't it?
very nice switch up. That tastes a lot like a burger I've gotten at some bars. It's
And-
a solid A for me.
I think I can agree
A
with
solid
that.
A for me.
Just like the big boy, we have found an extinct burger chain.
Well, they're going extinct.
They went
It's
bankrupt.
like we found a panda out in the wild, really.
A panda that would serve us some of the thickest French fries that we'd have all week, as well as bacon cheeseburger sliders that were interesting to say the least.
Ever get the urge to chuck something across the room? It's cold. It's colder than that. We got that like 20 minutes ago. This is cold.
Mm-hmm.
God damn it! Did they microwave this bullshit?
Absolutely, they did. You notice how nice that lady was at the drive-thru window?
Is that why? I do have a letter in mind.
Okay, you go first.
The
'cause-
burger is okay. It's not horrible. Not my choice of condiments. That's my only issue. I'd rather have ketchup on this than mustard. It's still a C.
all that work and it didn't help it at all.
No, but
Dude, I'm telling you, you can't fix a burger in which the patty sucks.
no,
You can't fix it. You can only hide it. And like that's not enough to hide it. I think I'm gonna go with a D.
Okay.
And just like that, 10 more restaurants off the board and another day completed on the drive-thru road trip.
Morning of day 3. We gotta start off our breakfast right with Bojangles. It's time to get Bojangly up in here.
If he sounds like he's unenthusiastic, it certainly wasn't because of the food. I got a fried chicken biscuit sandwich, and it tasted fantastic, especially after all of the other fried chicken we had the last couple of days. And Jacob went with the southern staple of biscuits and gravy.
This place needs to migrate north.
Solid A.
Same here.
Yeah, I know, it doesn't sound like we're very enthusiastic, but I mean, it was great to go get good breakfast food from one of these restaurants instead of another lunch menu. Besides, I think we were more focused on the 9 more hours we had to drive in order to get to New Orleans for our next stops. And yes, there were other restaurants that we could have done along the way, but after doing 10 of them essentially back to back the day before, we didn't even want to think about fast food until we got to our destination. We did stop at Buc-ee's, but it's not fast food, so who cares? Just kidding. Buc-ee's won't be going on the list, but it was A tier. Back on the road again, let's check in with our past selves and see how we're doing.
We've been to 20 fast food joints and we've got 24 to go. Yep.
Welcome to Mississippi.
Woo!
Yay!
Woo! About fucking time. God damn, all right.
Alabama wasn't bad.
No, but to be fair, we did kind of just blow right through it.
Good.
Which,
We'll
for the best.
We'll do the same thing with Mississippi too.
Yeah, we're about to blow Mississippi.
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot to see on the drive to New Orleans, except for this bridge.
Now that's a sight I'm gonna remember for a while.
That was pretty cool. The end of this breathtaking sight also meant that we were finally in New Orleans and could finally get back on track with our next two stops, which were Popeyes and Rally's. Some of you may know this as Checkers. It's the same restaurant, just different name. And as you can see, we tried these after checking into our hotel, where we also met up with our friend Danny.
Good old.
The number one chicken sandwich.
Not spicy. I would go with spicy, but I know how you are with spice. That's probably got the best crust of all the chicken sandwiches we tried.
Yes.
So I enjoy that. Not my favorite chicken though.
Now I actually love Popeyes. That's my go-to because there's one in Janesville. Yeah, I think this is better than Zaxby's.
Better than Zaxby's.
In my opinion.
I'm leaning towards B. Because I think I gave Zaxby's an A. What did you give? What would you give this?
No, I'm still gonna give it. I'm gonna give it an S.
Okay.
Because I'm a frequent flyer at Popeyes. I love Popeyes. Check it Rallies. I have never heard of this place until we started this. Do the fries first. Hold the phone. My guy. Aside from a little bit of seasoning, they're identical.
Hold on. Try that. Yeah, you're right. That's weird.
Wow.
They're Cajun fries. Okay. How's the burger with the salad?
The burger salad. Well, I got my letter, James.
You took a huge bite out of that, by the way. Oh my lord, that's like half the burger. Like, bro heard one bite test. It was like,
Challenge accepted.
yeah. All right, time to get more schmutz on my face. It's a B.
Yeah, I agree.
It's a B.
It's a B burger.
It tastes a lot like what I usually.
Slightly above average.
Hey man, I wouldn't mind seeing that come around again, or I wouldn't mind getting that, but it doesn't need to migrate anywhere.
No.
Yeah, that's pretty much it for day 3. After this, we walked around and got real food with Danny and then just enjoyed Bourbon Street the rest of the night. Day 4 also didn't see a whole lot of action with food. For the most part, we just enjoyed New Orleans for the sake of New Orleans. We didn't do any more fast food reviews. I'm gonna include some footage here, but maybe in the future I'll make a whole little vlog talking about it. Well, we definitely weren't ready to leave New Orleans, but unfortunately we had to move on. The plan for today was we were going to drive from New Orleans all the way to Dallas, Texas, and then we were going to hit up way more restaurants than we initially thought to make up for the day prior. And as you might have guessed, there wasn't a whole lot to see as we drove on and on and on. And yes, it was annoying to have to drive this long in order to get to our destination. But what sucked even more is knowing that our destination was another fast food place that we might not even like. There was definitely some fun times and some genuinely good restaurants that we had been to in the last couple of days, but honestly, the prospect of putting that much stress in my body through adding more fast food to my stomach was starting to get me a little nervous. And because of that, we decided we were going to stop for some Texas barbecue to try and shake things up a little bit. And specifically, we were going to go to a restaurant called Rudy's. And yeah, it was really good. Brisket sandwich was good, and the sauce was fantastic. Now, a lot of you who are familiar with Rudy's are probably realizing the mistake that we just made. Don't worry, we'll come back to that. For now, we have a tier list to get back to. Our first 2 stops in Texas were Schlotzsky's and Whataburger. Now, I've been to Whataburger before, and I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with it. But Schlotzsky's, that one I don't know anything about. It seemed like an Italian bistro place, so we were definitely interested.
That's a hefty burger. Feel the weight on that.
Oh,
Yeah, man. I mean, this is more like a shaved meat sandwich, so that's a lot closer to just how a sandwich would
smell
work.
the mustard. They put mustard on it.
Is that what I'm smelling? Oh, that is absolutely what I've been smelling.
This is about the same as the Lay's, maybe a little less.
Oh!
They pre-cut it! Oh, nice.
How very nice of them. You know what, Schlotzsky's?
Bonus
We
points.
see ya.
It was great that they pre-cut the sub for us. Problem is, we didn't really find the chips or the subs very interesting. We both gave it C. And then it was time for Whataburger, which our only comments were it was a big burger and it needed ketchup. We did like their fries though. It was a C tier for both of us. After that was Church's Chicken, Raising Cane's, and Chick-fil-A. I'm sure there's some of you that have strong opinions about Chick-fil-A, but first we have to talk about Church's.
And
Hey, that's not bad.
yeah, bone-in chicken right there.
Oh, I'm a fan.
That's a good biscuit.
That's a very
That's a very good biscuit. The main event though is still chicken. That is very juicy.
I'm looking forward to having this in Janesville.
Yeah. That's good. I actually like that a lot more than I thought. Oh, right. They also, I think they have French fries.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. They got, oh, it's more waffle. It's more, crinkle cuts.
I don't know how I like the smell of that. That's got some funk to it.
Yeah. I guess we'll just try that.
The taste is better than the smell.
That chicken was probably my favorite of the, like, traditional fried chicken stuff that we've been getting. It's way better than KFC.
The fries are decent.
Yeah, the fries are the only sticking
I
point
wouldn't probably
for me.
go for fries.
Mm.
Biscuit. That's
Yeah, that biscuit was really good.
That's
biscuit
your
was really
biscuit.
good.
The chicken's pretty good. Wouldn't go for bone-in. I don't know if they got like a chicken sandwich or a chicken nugget or something like that.
I bet, yeah, if they had that breading as a chicken sandwich, that'd be a solid A tier for me. But right now,
That's
bone
what I'm
in,
leaning at.
it's B.
Well, I'm going to A because I'm going to go to Church's a lot more because they're right by my workplace.
All right, so Church's Chicken put up a good fight, and we really enjoyed it, which was good because at this point we were starting to wane a little bit, or at least I was. So it was good that at the very least we were happy with something at this point. We were not happy with Raising Cane's and Chick-fil-A. Both have okay food with a great dipping sauce that we got none of. And normally this wouldn't piss me off, but in this case, after eating so much fried chicken, I just wanted some decent dipping sauce. And we got none of it. So yeah, Raising Cane's, you're only C-tier food as far as I'm concerned. And Chick-fil-A, you forgot our sauce and you hate gay people. You're an F. Moving on from that incredible disappointment, we have Dairy Queen. But not just any Dairy Queen, the Texas menu at Dairy Queen. You might only go to Dairy Queen to get their desserts. But if you do get food there, you'll notice that they sometimes tailor their menu to have regional tastes. And in the case of Texas, they have their own menu with things like nachos and chicken fried steak.
So I'm a spice fiend, okay?
I am not. I'll go. Oh no, you're not.
Of course I am. I'm gonna break this down. This half is what you would expect to see at like a movie theater or a baseball concession stand that has nachos, right?
Yes.
And then this half is almost like, I kid you not, it's like you walked into a Mexican restaurant and then just dumped it into a Dairy Queen bag. They're really good.
What?
Yeah, they're really good. They're not too crispy.
Well, I'll be the judge of
They're
that.
not like-
Wow. No, they're just restaurant style, Mexican style tortilla chips. What the heck?
It's the
Country
fried
fried
steak.
Yeah,
Tenders.
and of course they still got the staple here of. Ironically enough, you could still get this with the normal chicken tenders, but this is the
Texas toast.
Texas toast. It's
With the
just
fries.
bread.
You look pleased with yourself.
I'm very sad I don't have this. These are really good.
Okay,
No.
now I gotta try
Yeah,
this.
these are really good.
That one, dude.
Yep.
Oh, suspicious of the smell. That's pretty good though. Like, what the hell, Derek? Give us some.
God damn, dude. Like, yeah, like we get what, a steak sandwich, and they get
At one location.
yeah, one
zero
location, and they get like this. Like,
And the
this is
entire
awesome.
Okay, what are you leaning towards? I know what my letter is.
For Texas Dairy Queen,
Yes.
I'm giving it an S.
Really?
Yeah.
I wouldn't
want
give it that
it's-
high.
I want this. I want this now.
But I'm feeling an A because the fries are gonna be what we expect. Same thing with the
Oh
toast.
yeah, that's okay.
I'm giving it an A. I'm giving it an A. No, keep your S. I'm giving
yeah,
it
I'm
an
gonna
A.
keep it because what I want is like if it's S in my book, it's like if it's not by me, I want it there, and this is exactly that.
Yeah, Texas finally has some good stuff for us. It was at this point that we decided we wanted to take a rest before going into the rest of the day. Hey, wait, that's more chicken. Why is there more chicken? Oh, right. Yeah, this is Chicken Express. We didn't know about this place until we got to Texas. This place sucks.
Oh god, it's so slimy. Like that's slimy. That's not right.
Here, hold on. Let me get in on that.
That's really slimy. That feels
That is
slimy.
bad. Went in for another bite, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh god, that's all fat. That's literally all fat.
How is it? Or
It
you know
tastes
what?
like poor man's Popeyes.
Oh no.
That is not what you want to see.
Oh man,
Beef biscuit.
that's still I'm trying. I'm scared of this. Good god.
Yeah, you know what?
Hold on.
I think I know.
I want to try their sole French fry. The one survival. I almost wanted to get the French fries, but I knew you wanted fried okra.
I haven't tried fried okra. I'm not really. I don't hate it, but I need to try good fried okra.
That's nearly edible. The French fry is the most edible thing in the whole thing.
Really?
It is the most edible thing in that whole box, and it was a mistake. My overall experience is F. This is an F tier. I wouldn't want to go here ever again. I would look at that, go ew, and walk away. That chicken is slimy.
Yeah.
The brisket smells and tastes staler than a Civil War tack cracker.
Oh, hardtack?
Hardtack cracker.
Yeah, dude. Holy crap.
The only thing that's enjoyable about this whole Chicken Express experience is that it has a very delightful cup with delicious high C fruit punch, which you know is just high C fruit punch.
And you're gonna need it with that biscuit. I think I'm gonna have to agree with you. That's F.
I have an F tier.
It's not like
We
the
found
worst.
this. We did last minute research. We were like, oh, how have we never heard of this? That's why.
Yeah.
Now, I would have loved to have told you that this was the last thing that we did that day. But unfortunately, we still had more restaurants to go to, and I was fading fast. Remember when we had Rudy's earlier today and I said that was a mistake? Yeah, that was starting to take its revenge out on us. Combination of Rudy's and all the other fast food that we were having that day started to feel like a big rock in my stomach. So as you can imagine, I wasn't very thrilled to go out and get more food to finish out the day. The whole time of us going to get this last bit of food just felt like a big blurry mess for me. It was just one drive-through line after another and me getting more and more brown paper bags of food. It's fair to say that once we got back to the hotel room, we wanted this day to be over. Starting off with Burger King, we went with a Junior Whopper. Now, the flame broiled patty does taste distinctly different than some of the other restaurants we had eaten at during this trip. However, the rest of it was very literally a nothing burger. So we went with a low B. Next was El Pollo Loco, which of the Tex-Mex places, I think it has the best salsa that we had, but honestly, its tacos didn't really taste like anything. They had a very satisfying crunch though. we decided to give it a C. Third up was In-N-Out, which I had been to a few times before this trip, but this would be the first time that Jacob was trying it.
Okay, I'll say the hype. I get the hype. Beef is really, it's okay. It's a mediocre beef burger patty. Sauce, however, I see why people went animal style with it. It's good sauce.
While the burger itself can hold its own and the fries are average, the real star of the show is still that burger sauce. If you go to In-N-Out, I would highly recommend that you get as much of that sauce on your burger and on the fries as possible. A tier for both of us. We highly recommend it. And finally, Jack in the Box, which it has an expansive menu and we could have tried any number of things on there, but we decided to go with a mushroom Swiss burger and the French toast sticks. Now, I only tried the mushroom Swiss burger because I don't think my stomach could really handle anything sweet at this point. But I thought it was a decent burger and decided to give it a B. Jacob, on the other hand, liked the burger, but loved the French toast sticks. So he decided to give it an S.
I am so glad that out of the 4, I can like one of them enough to finish it.
Oh, God, that's... I mean, I'm not... this is like the only one that I'm dissatisfied with, right?
Except
Burger
with the
King's
nachos.
Burger King's Burger King. Yeah, but this is C tier with everything else. Everything else here has been like, A's and B's. I like the sauce on the In-N-Out burger way more.
I do.
Mushroom Swiss is great and all, but I don't know. Maybe it's just.
The fuck?
Yeah, as if our day couldn't have been any worse, some jackass at the hotel decided to pull the fire alarm. But the building did not burn down. So, that's the end of day 5. It was a long and uncomfortable day for both of us. But the good news was we had made substantial progress on the tier list and now only had 12 restaurants to go as we went into day 6, which thankfully did not have as many stops as yesterday. Our first 2 restaurants for the day were Panera Bread and Panda Express. Now I know what you're thinking. That's not fast food, is it? Well, we kind of looked at it and said that as long as they had a quick service mentality and a drive-thru, they fit the bill for fast food.
Oh, the drive-thru's closed.
It's the thought that counts, really. The breakfast sandwich that we got at Panera Bread was fantastic. We both gave it S. As for Panda Express, we got the orange chicken and thought it was really good as well. I gave it an A, Jacob gave it an S. In retrospect, it was probably the fact that these were different restaurants more so than they were fantastic restaurants that led to their high scores. Although that's not to say that they didn't have good tasting food, so I still think they're worth your time compared to other fast food places. Not a bad start to our day, honestly. At this point though, we really needed to start hitting the road and get out of Texas. While day 6 didn't have as many stops as day 5, it had just as many, if not more, miles for us to cover. And much like the eastern part of Texas, West Texas is very flat, very rural, and very boring. So if you're traveling around here, absolutely bring a fire playlist with you. I can't play any of it here, obviously, but if you're interested, the link to our Spotify playlist is down below. Time for more fried chicken. Not only is this our last stop in Texas, it's also the last fried chicken joint that we're gonna have. A fried chicken joint that was also connected to a Subway restaurant, which probably makes now a good time to talk about that. If you were wondering why we haven't done Subway up until this point, it's because we didn't define it as fast food. It may claim itself to be fast food, but honestly, I don't buy it. On top of that, it's not that good, so even if we did do it, it really wouldn't make or break the road trip as far as we were concerned. So if you want it on the list, there you go. Anyway, back to Chester's.
Which is not all that crispy. Nice and hot though. This is very much gas station food. There's no way around it.
Yeah.
This biscuit doesn't look terrible though.
I gotta let her. That Thousand Island dressing does not go well with that.
I would say it's almost approaching a little bit too rubbery for my taste. And I would like to have it where like this, I was hoping that this would just be crispy, but it's moist. It looks kind of crispy right here, but let me tell you, it's not. I'll try a little bit of this.
The biscuit helped.
Mm-hmm. C.
Damn, I was gonna go with C.
Yeah. It's all right. It's average.
I like the chicken. Not a huge fan of the dressing. Biscuit's okay. You and I have... See, we both think it's a C, but for entirely different reasons.
I'm gonna eat this, though.
You can eat that. I am not. I'm gonna pass. You'll next see us in New Mexico. And I'm looking forward to being in New Mexico. Roswell. Aliens.
That'll be fun.
It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yep, you heard him right. Our final destination for today was Roswell, New Mexico. But it wasn't just Roswell that Jacob was excited about. He really wanted to go and see what it was like to be in a desert. And luckily, New Mexico has an awful lot of that. Unfortunately, deserts are boring, especially if you're driving through it. But amongst the arid plains that we were driving through lied Roswell, New Mexico, home to a lot of alien-themed souvenir shops. Yeah, I won't lie. Roswell is very much a self-aware and obnoxious kind of place, but we loved it. The main drag of Roswell was thematically coherent and just the right amount of cheesy that we couldn't help but fall in love with this town. But more on that later. For now, we have some food to review. We had 3 more stops planned for today before we could really enjoy the rest of Roswell. Wiener Schnitzel, Dairy Queen, and Wendy's. Of these 3, Wiener Schnitzel was the only one that we've never heard of before. So, now was going to be the time that we get first impressions on it. And oh boy, were those first impressions pretty bad.
Ooh.
Yeah, it looks,
Looks like what's gonna come out of my asshole later.
Luckily, the hot dogs tasted a lot better than they looked. Jacob and I both agreed that the chili cheese dogs were good. However, we disagreed on the fries. See, I didn't really like them because I thought they were under-seasoned, a little cold, not really anything special. Whereas Jacob thought they were as good, if not a little bit better than McDonald's fries. All this combined for me to give it a B, and for Jacob to give it an A. Next up was Dairy Queen, with this towering mess of a bacon cheeseburger. Getting a cross-section of this thing was not very pleasant. But despite all these toppings, the burger itself was only okay, maybe slightly above average at best.
I don't have much to say about this one. Thing is, I don't really hate it that much.
Well, it's your kind of burger.
It's just a good, decent burger. Veggies are pretty good. You can taste the beef. Bacon's good. It's just not my kind of burger. Definitely above average, don't get me wrong. The fries are palatable, but you can always go for the custard. So it's a solid B.
Yeah, I'm confident saying that's B.
Me too.
That's B tier right there.
We don't have that many B tiers.
No.
So I'm glad that we have a B tier.
And last, but certainly not least, Wendy's. With this admittedly depressing looking Baconator sandwich. For me, I did enjoy the burger and the fries, but I didn't really think that they were spectacular, so I only gave it a B. Jacob, I think, was tapping into a lot more of his nostalgia about Wendy's and decided to go with an S for not just the burger's quality, but all of the other stuff that he's had from Wendy's in the past.
Their barbecue sauce is really good, and the frosties are really good. And the fries are always good. The fries are always good. I've never had bad fries at Wendy's. The burgers, take it or leave it. I'm more of a chicken sandwich guy at Wendy's.
And with those restaurants out of the way, we were done with day 6. Spent the rest of that night just driving around, exploring the last few sights to see in Roswell. I think at this point it was starting to sink in just how insane this whole road trip was. I mean, 2 days before this, we were enjoying ourselves on Bourbon Street in New Orleans, and then 2 days before that, we were walking around Chicago to find a Portillo's. All because we wanted to make a tier list about fast food. I guess sometimes the really stupid ideas you have can end up making some of the best memories. But we weren't quite done with this road trip yet. The morning of day 7 might have been a little dreary and cold, but for us, we were very excited. For the majority of this road trip, I've been skipping over a lot of the driving, because where we were going was very dull and not all that interesting to look at.
Howdy, partner.
However, our morning drive through New Mexico was fantastic. It's where you start to get those really long stretches of desert landscape, broken up by those red rocky mesas. It's no Monument Valley, but it's beautiful in its own way. Eventually, though, we had to peel our eyes away from the landscape and pull into Santa Fe for our first stop of the day. I'm willing to bet that most people only know about Hardee's and Carl's Jr. because of the old raunchy ads they used to have on TV all the time. where you're not sure if what they're selling are burgers or an escort. But for our purposes, we'll just be talking about the burgers for today. I went with the typical American-style cheeseburger. Jacob went with more of a Texas barbecue bacon burger. And yeah, even with the lack of sexy supermodels around, we still thought these were fantastic burgers. We both give it A. Having thoroughly enjoyed our lunch at Carl's Jr., we hit the road again. Our final destination for day 7 was Denver, Colorado. And while the drive was still beautiful as we approached the Colorado border, it did start to get a little damp.
Welcome to Colorado.
Woo! You're home? Yeah! Not quite. We're still 3 hours away. Woo! Now for a pit stop. Soon, yes, soon.
But we weren't there just to see mountains. We had something else in mind. Now, Colorado has no shortages of national parks. But the most unique has to be the Great Sand Dunes National Park, because it's almost like something out of a video game, where one moment you're driving through the mountains, and then the next you're in the middle of a desert. I half expected to find some kind of like desert temple out there to explore as a side quest. It was definitely worth the stop. However, I wouldn't recommend that anybody go in the middle of May or during the spring, because there's this large creek that can sometimes run through the outer perimeter of the sand dunes, and it'll just completely waterlog your shoes. So yeah, maybe bring some flip-flops if you're going. Otherwise, just wait until summer. With our sandy side quest out of the way, it was time for us to get back on the road. The rest of day 7 for us was just getting out of the mountains and back into civilization, which in this case was Colorado Springs, where all we had to do was eat at 2 more restaurants and we were done for the day. Those being Five Guys and Del Taco.
That's interesting because look at the amount of grease on that bag.
Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to that. Honestly, I've heard some great things about Five Guys. The price is not one of those great things. This is what we're working with in terms of fries. These are the normal fries, just salt. They are known, renowned, and appreciated for their french fries. These are a souped up Wendy's fry. I'm not even kidding. This is among one of my favorite french fries that we've had so far. All right, now, the reason why this costs $19. The burger. Oh no.
I missed the fry. I'm gonna eat that fry.
Oh no.
Too dirty.
Ooh, that's not the most photogenic burger we've seen so far.
This is why I like them. It's a messy burger, but you'll love to see it.
All right, here we go. That is not a $9 burger.
No.
That's not a $9 burger. That's like Burger King stuff right there. It's a solid burger, right? But it's nothing special. And it's like $9 for the smallest burger they got.
Yeah. You don't go to Five Guys to get the burger. You go to Five Guys to get the burger your way. They do it a la carte style.
That is nice.
When you get a burger, it doesn't come with any condiments, but all the condiments are free and you can get any condiment you want. This, I get it with A1 sauce, onions, raw onions, and bacon and cheese. That's it. That is my Five Guys burger. That is what I go for. I get it on special occasions when I feel like I want to splurge a little. It's really expensive,
Yeah.
but it's done the way I want it. Much like a Subway or any kind of like a la carte style shop that does fast food. This is the only burger place that does that.
This is the first time I've ever enjoyed the fries more than the burger itself. And it's weird because I was just telling him that there's never a moment where I'm like, oh, French fries are the meal, unless you're like downing them in chili cheese. Do they do that at Five Guys or no?
Yes, they do have chili cheese.
I would
dogs.
go there for the fries are A, maybe even closer to S tier, like a high A.
I'm gonna give this place a B.
I'm also gonna give it a B.
Milkshakes are pretty good, but again, they're very rich, very expensive. It's the kind of place you go to if you're hankering for something very specific, and you're willing to pay the price.
Okay, so Five Guys definitely fumbled the bag a little bit with the burger. But what about Del Taco? What's their menu like? Well, actually, we had quite a bit to say while we were doing the review. Problem is, we didn't really have very good ways of expressing our thoughts on it, so I think it's just best if I summarize it from here. We both considered that this was the best Tex-Mex place that we had had during the entire trip. Not that that was a particularly high bar, but it was nice to finally get some decent Mexican food. We also noticed that the burritos had a little bit more of a spicy kick to them than we were expecting. Now, I like some spice to my food, but Jacob is not really very spice tolerant, so he didn't really enjoy it as much as I did. Jacob went with a solid B, but I gave it an S. And that was pretty much it for day 7. All we had to do now was just get back to my apartment. We made it back. I need to give him a bed.
What do you mean? It's right here.
And as great as it would be to have that be the finale, to get back to my apartment and then just spend a couple of extra days chilling out and enjoying Denver, we still had 4 restaurants to do before we could actually call it quits. But that was gonna have to wait until tomorrow. All right, cool. Hotel. Day 8 started with us getting some much needed rest before we got up and got out to a restaurant called Good Times. If you don't know this restaurant, it's probably because it's only really available around Denver. The best way I can describe it is this is Colorado's version of Culver's, so you know it's gonna be good. But just how good exactly? Well, I thought the French fries were good because they actually had more seasoning than just salt to them, and Jacob felt that they were the best fries he had during the entire trip. My burger had a little bit too much lettuce on there, but after all of the other fast food we were having, I'll take a little roughage. And Jacob was extremely impressed by the cheese and beef on his sliders. Now originally I was thinking about just giving this place an A because it was good, but nothing necessarily spectacular. But then I tried their lemonades. And let me tell you, that is some of the best strawberry lemonade I've ever had. So it immediately got me and Jacob on the same page, and we both agreed that this was S.
Probably come back a lot more since this is a little bit closer for me to get to.
If I ever come back and visit you,
We're going here.
Good Times is a good option.
And then we headed back up into the mountains. Now, while I live in Colorado, that by no means makes me an expert about what we should be going to do. So things like the sand dunes was actually Jacob's idea, as well as our next stop, Vail, Colorado. Specifically, he wanted to check out some of the museum stuff that was there. They have some indoor stuff, but also an entire set of log cabins donated to them by families who used to live around there. You really get a sense of what it was like to live there at that time, where even basic necessities became everyday challenges, and even small things were considered luxuries. But who cares about that? It's the 21st century. We're not worried about cholera and dysentery. All we're concerned about is whether or not these next 2 restaurants are good. Restaurants 43 and 44 on this trip were Boston Market and Taco John's. Now, Boston Market is 100% a fast casual restaurant. But you know what? Our friend Danny told us spectacular things about this place, so we decided to add it to the list and review it anyway. It's only okay. Like, it's essentially just a rotisserie chicken dinner that you can get in like 5-10 minutes. You're better off just going to the grocery store. Okay, now that we have that out of the way, it's time we talk about a real fast food place, like Taco John's. Specifically, we were trying the fried chicken tacos and a beef burrito.
I like that.
Here's the thing.
Even without the mild sauce on there, they got a nice sauce.
Here's the thing. You notice that it's got that spicy kick to it, but it doesn't hit you at all. It's got the flavor of the spice, but it doesn't like hit you.
See, it's spicy, but it's spicy in the sense that it's not hot.
Yeah,
it's flavorful.
It's a very flavorful spice.
I'm a fan. Taco John's, I'm a fan.
I'm not. You know why?
Why?
Have that burrito. It's a little bland on my liking, but it's still pretty good. You want to try a bite?
Just a little bit. That's still miles better than Taco Bell ever could be.
And I honestly think, out of all the Mexican places we've been to, this is my favorite. So I'm giving this an A.
I'm gonna agree with you. It's an A. Not quite Del Taco, but pretty damn good. All right. Arby's with a special guest, hopefully.
Yeah, that special guest would end up having his plans change. So, I guess we'll have to finish this on day 9.
So,
This man right here, we've had to reschedule for him 3 times so that we can pop his cherry today. We get to pop this boy's cherry.
Arby's. He's talking about Arby's. Danny hasn't been to Arby's yet. That's what he means by popping his cherry. Whew. Man, that was a close one. But just who is this Danny guy anyway? Obviously, this is the same guy that I pointed out on day 3 as being in our hotel room. But, like, who is he to us? And why is he here now? Like Jacob, Danny is one of my friends that I made when I was going to school in Wisconsin. However, I fell out of touch with a lot of my friends, including Jacob, because I moved out of the state immediately after I graduated. I still kept up with Danny because for a while he lived in Illinois at the same time that I did. And by a weird twist of events, we both ended up moving to Colorado at the same time and just continued to hang out ever since. And then in 2021, he told me that Jacob was starting his Discord and that he wanted me to join. And so I did, which is where I talked to Jacob about this idea, and he told me he wanted to do it. So in a way, Danny's the whole reason this thing started. Now, we weren't able to coordinate having 3 people do the entire trip, but we were able to convince him to come out and meet us in New Orleans so that we could review Arby's together. But it was just kind of out of the way, and New Orleans is a cool city that we wanted to explore. So we delayed it until we could be all in Colorado together. We already planned on hanging out after all. What's one more restaurant to do while we're in the state of Colorado? And then Danny delayed it 2 more times. But it's fine. We're all here now, finishing this goddamn list. Arby's might just be one of the most contested restaurants in the whole world of fast food. Essentially, you either really like this place or fucking hate it. There's no in between, and our opinions were no different. Danny went with one of their new Wagyu burgers and thought it was pretty good, all things considered, and gave it a B. Jacob went with the chicken sandwich and then also got a side order of these loaded ranch fries. He liked both and gave Arby's a solid B. I went with a normal beef and cheddar. Its presentation being about what I expect from Arby's. It had taken quite a bit to get to this one sandwich. 3,000 miles, 45 different restaurants, and 9 days. But it was never about this sandwich, nor was it about any of the other food we had during the trip. This journey started as a way for us to set the record straight, to define what fast food was, and to find the best and the worst in the United States. But in reality, all we did was just publicize our opinions. You can agree or disagree on any number of things we put on the list. In fact, I encourage you to do so. I was hoping I'd have some kind of profound experience as a result of this trip. Something that I can relate to you and tie this whole video together with. Something about the importance of your friends, or following your dreams, or never giving up on your goals. Something. For now, I've got nothing. But I will say that that is one of the best tasting D-tier foods I've ever had.
That's it. We've done it. We've finally done it.
Finally?
It would have been no sooner if you hadn't rescheduled on us.
Yeah. Alright, bro.
We're done. I'm gonna finish this.